All right, we are live on J Center. I think we're on YouTube. At least we might be on Twitter and Facebook as well. And we are breaking down a pretty big signing, Jesse. Kazuma Okamoto in agreement with the Blue Jays, 4-year contract, $60 million. How do you feel about the signing in general?
Kazuma Okamoto-san, I am very excited to get this player into Blue Jays Blue. It has been a long time since the Blue Jays have really gone to the Pacific Rim to sign a player surely of his caliber. No offense to Munenori Kawasaki or Nori Aoki or Kikuchi was a little different. This is the first real Japanese superstar, I'd say, to come play for the Toronto Blue Jays. So very, very excited. I will say, Owen, I did not expect this name to be the first name that came down on the position player side for the Toronto Blue Jays. But after doing more research and looking into it, I am thoroughly excited of what this player will bring to our team.
Yeah, man, I think superstar is the right way to put it. Like, this guy is nothing short of a superstar in Japan. Like 6 straight seasons of 30 homers from, I believe it was like 2018 to 2023, and then like hit 27 the next year, and then was on pace for 30 again in 2025. Like, this dude is a legit hitter. He sleepwalks to an 800 OPS. Like, has been above 900 fairly consistently in the NPB, of course. So it's not going to translate 1-to-1 to MLB. Okay, we know that. But
Right.
the proof of concept that this guy is a professional hitter and a hitter that can do it on the biggest stage, it's there, Jesse. I think it's pretty exciting. It's hard not to be excited. Is it the guy that I thought that they were going to get and that I wanted them to get? No, I don't think so. But I think we're going to get into it a little bit later. But it seems like the word on the street is that maybe it doesn't put a nail in the coffin of those two things that you and I are both alluding to here.
Yes.
But more on Okamoto. Like, biggest thought. What's the biggest thing you're excited about to see him in Blue Jays
Yeah.
Blue?
Put a pin on the Tucker Bichette stuff. We'll get into that a little later in the episode here. But the thing I'm most excited about is just the all-around skill set that he has fits the Toronto Blue Jays to an absolute T. Like, this is another one of those signings, just like the Trevor Rogers signings, that looks so damn obvious that the Blue Jays were going to do this after the fact. So I'm very excited to see how these skills can translate. The mix of good eye at the plate, the elite contact skills, the ability to hit the ball in the air to pull side, to tap into that power a little bit, all excites me. It all gives me this positive feeling that he's going to actually hit quite well, assuming he can make the adjustment from Japan to the big leagues okay. I really like, too, Owen, that he played for the Giants in Japan, which was like the Yankees of Japan. So he knows what it's like to play on the high level, to have all the attention on him all the time. He played in the World Baseball Classic in 2023. He hit a home run off Kyle Freeland and Team USA, for goodness sake. Like, he has already done a lot professionally in the major league. So coming to Toronto with expectations on him, I don't think are going to phase him at all.
Yeah, no, he's 29 years old. Like, he's squarely in his prime. Like, he is ready to do this. He's a win now player, like all reports. And like, I wish I had seen him play a whole bunch before getting to watch this. Obviously, we haven't got the chance to see him struggle, see the way he struggles and how he gets out of it, and see him succeed and why he's succeeding. So like, I'm super excited to get the chance to like really sink my teeth into what he does and what he's good at. But yes, from all accounts, everything I've read, everything I've watched, it seems like he really is just going to like show up and hit. And maybe he's not going to play the best defense at third base, but at least he's going to be a little bit versatile, can be a very solid defender at first base is the word. There's some whispers about him maybe taking some time in left field or right field, a corner outfield spot. And we know the Blue Jays love their versatility, so they're going to take full advantage of that as soon as they can. Like, I think he fits in really well. And like, as you mentioned, like his ability to not strike out, like he's putting up like I think it's like a 12K percentage. Like that's, and obviously in the MPB, like we're gonna put the caveat on it and that asterisk, but it's pretty good, man. Like, I think that's something that like it's clear why the Blue Jays liked him, and it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, and I want to point out, too, that currently in Japan, they are going through a dead ball type era where the offensive numbers have been lowest than I think they've ever been in their franchise history. So the fact that Okamoto was still able to do what he did during a time when offense is just down across the league says something, right? So if you adjust it for league average, it's been a lot better. So I like that, too. That is a positive sign. On the defensive side, like you got into, and we can talk more about how this affects the whole Toronto Blue Jays defense if we want to. But yeah, he's going to stand there at third base. He won't be the best. I bet you he probably does see a little bit more time in left field or in right field, more than I think we might think if he can hold his own there. I bet you we got to look at that in spring training to see how that's going to look. And the Blue Jays have always valued their versatility. So the fact that this guy can do it, I like that we get another backup first baseman. We haven't really had that. Like watching Ernie Clement having to back up first base was never the good play for his skill set. So I like that we finally have a guy that can do this here. And on the defensive side, I'm not exactly that worried about how it affects the team.
No, and if he's gonna hit, like they think he's gonna hit, and like the reports are that he's going to hit, the defense at third base is something that you can absolutely, like be okay with. I think is the easiest way to put it. I think that like as long as he hits, I think there are enough good defenders around him. Like Andres Jimenez is going to be manning shortstop. I'm like 99% confident at this point in the offseason that he's going to be the shortstop. Ernie Clement's going to be seeing a lot of time at second base as it stands right now. And then you have two Gold Glove defenders up the middle and Alejandro Kirk and Dalton Varsho. Like I think the defense on this team could had the ability to add a not great defender at a corner position, and that's exactly what they did. And I honestly, I love that they did it. I love that they were aggressive and got it done. And they got it done at a price point where maybe they could add another guy at a non-premium defensive position that's going to hit a whole bunch. Jesse, you ready to tell me what this is going to do to the Jays' pursuit of Bo Bichette? Like, is the nail in the coffin there? Is Kyle Tucker no longer a Blue Jay? Like, what do we think?
So I do want to get a little bit more into his actual offensive profile and why we like that as well. But we can touch on the Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker stuff first because that's way more exciting. Yeah. What does this mean? My first thought, Owen, when I saw this come across the timeline last night is that it does make the Blue Jays roster feel a little full, right? Because no matter what happens here, Nathan Lucas is now onto a bench role. It means we're just kind of running out of players here. But of course, that'll never stop us from going after the big fish, right? If this was the Blue Jays of like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I probably would have said, yeah, okay, they're done. But with this signing, it now pushes them over the $300 million in the luxury tax here. And the Blue Jays might as well just become the Dodgers, just keep going. Like this front office has a thirst or a hunger or a drive to try to get better and put them over that edge. And while I feel maybe less confident that they're going to end up with one of these guys than I did probably a week ago, I'm still putting the odds at over 70, 80% that one of these players does get done and ends up joining the Toronto Blue Jays.
70 to 80%. Is that what you just said?
Well, that's like the group of four we mentioned on the podcast last night, which would be one of Bichette, Bregman less so now, Bellinger, and Tucker. I think it'll be one of those.
Crazy. That's crazy to think that. Like this team is already projected. I think it's the second most WAR in baseball. The Blue Jays are projected for that as of right now. And obviously there are big names left on the market, so that's liable to change. But if they add another, like Bichette's like a walking 4-win player. Kyle Tucker's a walking 5-win player. Like, wow, man. Like this team could have the highest ceiling like we've ever seen a Blue Jays team have if they can get that deal done. I think you're right. I think like the Alex Bregman dream is dead. I think it makes, I don't think, well, I guess like we can talk fit a little bit because a Kyle Tucker fit now makes a lot less sense to me because you bring him in because so assuming Okamoto's like an everyday third baseman or a third baseman for the most part, that shifts Addison Barger to an everyday right fielder. And I think, do you think Addison Barger is an everyday player in 2026?
I want to see the Blue Jays give him more of a run against left-handers just because I think the bat speed is so good. I think the tools are so good. Even if he's just holds his own against lefties, he can mash against righties. And, the arm in the outfield is so good. I think Barger's better in right field than third base anyway, right? So I do want to see the Blue Jays give that a chance, yes.
Okay, so Addison Barger, an everyday player. Do you think Anthony Santander is an everyday player? Because let me tell you, he's getting paid like one.
And I think I want him to be. It's going to be hard to say yes right away coming off the season he just had. But I think if he's right, then he should be in there every day, yes.
Okay, so Dalton Varsho's a center fielder. Where does Kyle Tucker play? That's the issue. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to bring up, right? Because if you can, and let me tell you right now, all 30 teams in baseball have room for Kyle Tucker, including the Blue Jays.
Yes.
It might take some finagling, some interesting moves. And it might cost the Blue Jays an Anthony Santander trade, and they might have to eat a little bit of money to get off that. or something along the lines. Okay. So the fit is not as clean as it was before they brought in Okamoto. Okay. The Bo Bichette case, I think he fits just as well as he did before, because I think I'm ready to write him down in pen as a second baseman in 2026. Are you?
Yes. Yeah, me too. That's if he's coming back to Toronto, I'm like 90% sure it'll be at second base.
Okay, so right now, like the everyday second baseman is Ernie Clement. Like Ernie Clement on this roster is playing every day at second base. Um, if you bring in Bo Bichette, he plays every day at second base. Ernie Clement can be used in that super utility role. Give Jimenez a day at shortstop against a tough lefty. Give Okamoto a day at third. Give Bo a day at second. We're not sure how the knee's going to recover, like et cetera, et cetera. So I think the Bichette fit is just as clean as it has been all offseason, if not cleaner, because like the team is better now than it was when we talked yesterday. So I think the dream's not dead. It's going to take a lot of money though, because the Blue Jays have the second highest luxury tax payroll. I think it's $308 million. I was writing up Okamoto yesterday, and I saw that number. It's the second highest luxury tax payroll in baseball right now. How exciting is that?
That's awesome. I remember the days when the Vernon Wells contract extension prevented the Blue Jays from doing anything, and we've come a long way from that, Owen. On your point on Kyle Tucker, you're right. Like there was always a way to find these players. If they do it, on paper, we can only put 9 guys in the starting lineup, and we probably have 10, 11, maybe even 12 players that deserve to be everyday rotation people. But these things always find a way to figure themselves out, right? Like it's going to be very unlikely somebody isn't dealing with something going through the course of the year, right? These guys are all going to find a way to get their at-bats. It's going to happen. I like to quote Jurassic Park in this and say, life just finds a way. And that's why I'm never really too worried about having too many good players for not enough spots in the lineup. Sure, Joey Loperfido felt the squeeze of that last year, right? He was probably good enough to be on the big league roster, and just numbers game couldn't happen. And that sucks, but that is something that the good teams have. And the Blue Jays, oh boy, are definitely going to be a good team next year. So that's just something they're going to have to deal with. And I think if you're a player in that clubhouse that might be getting squeezed out a little bit, you got to kind of accept, hey, this is just what comes with the territory.
Yeah. And I think, well, it doesn't worry me, but like you saw that can get a little bit dicey. We saw Jose Barrios in the World Series not show up because he got pushed out. Like he straight up was not good enough to play for the Blue Jays in the playoffs. Like he just wasn't. And maybe that was injuries, maybe that was the stuff, and maybe that's going to get figured out in 26 and he's going to bounce back like we know he can and like we've seen him do so often. Okay? But it can cause guys to get upset because like a guy like Nathan Lucas, he's like a career minor leaguer, finally got a shot last year and proved himself. And right now he's not going to play every day. He's not going to play as much as he did last year. He's going to take a step back after a career year. And after being frankly, really good in the playoffs, Nathan Lucas, brought a lot to the table. Same with Davis Schneider. Like, did you have Davis Schneider hitting a leadoff home run? Was that an Ohtani game that he did that?
That was Blake Snell.
Oh, Snell. There you go. Yeah. So hitting off a leadoff homer in the World Series against Blake Snell. And he's not going to get to play nearly as much. I think the Okamoto signing actually sneakily takes away a lot from Schneider, just because they do a lot of similar things. They're right-handed hitters and corner outfield type of guys. But anyways, these are guys that deserve playing time on big league rosters, deserve a lot of playing time. And we know the Blue Jays are going to mix in everybody, and they rely on their platoon splits, and they're going to give guys days off and cycle everyone through positions. But I think that the where the roster is right now, while it's in a really good spot, they have so many guys, and obviously that is exciting, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And it's true. Pushing Nathan Lucas back to the bench is maybe not fair to him. I'll say if you don't like it, just play better. To go back to Jose Barrios, you didn't like how you were doing, just pitch better then. As to quote Josh Donaldson. But this does give John Schneider then a lot more flexibility later in games. You now have Davis Schneider who could hit a home run off a lefty off your bench. Nathan Lucas, maybe not the power, but he can, come in against a righty and might be able to scrap a double down the line. So John Schneider is going to have a lot of tools here, and having too much depth is never a bad thing.
No, never a bad thing. I think, and let me tell you, the Blue Jays have so much depth at this point. The team is in such a good spot. The lineup looks lethal. The pitching rotation is very solid. The bullpen is solid. I think this is already, I guess, if the offseason ended today, Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette sign elsewhere, is this an A offseason for you? Does it get a full grade?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
It's got to be, because you spent $210 million on the best starting pitcher on the market, like full stop right there. It's hard to say you had a quote bad offseason when you do that. So I think that is phenomenal. Plus, we like Cody Ponce. Okamoto is going to be a lot of fun. I think he's going to be very good. Rogers, one of the best relievers in the game. The Blue Jays needed bullpen help. It all helps. Like, I think it's no matter what happens from here on else, you have to say this offseason has been a success.
Yeah, the Blue Jays have literally addressed everything. The rotation is definitely better than it was last year. The bullpen is certainly going to be better than it was last year. And the lineup, even if they don't get Bichette or Tucker, is going to be probably just as good. If not, maybe a small step back, right? Like, just based on who you're bringing back.
So I agree, Owen. If we can, I do want to talk a little bit more about Okamoto himself, especially with the bat, and why we are so excited about what this guy can bring here. And I was looking at some numbers from his last season in Japan versus what we can kind of expect from him. We've mentioned already the contact rates are good. You've mentioned, I think, more walks and strikeouts, or those numbers were very close. The Blue Jays have always liked that stuff. To me, I look at his batted ball profile with how often he pulls the ball versus hits opposite field versus his fly ball rates versus line drive rates. It looks very similar to what Anthony Santander has done in his career. So it's going to be very much pull heavy, hit the ball. Like, you're probably going to see him pepper the left field foul pole quite often. He's really good at hitting that ball in the air, but almost everything, ground ball rate, fly ball rate. The only difference is Santander strikes out a hell of a lot more than Okamoto did. So that is the type of hitter you're getting. It's the Santander, Davis Schneider-esque mold of hitter, which I think pair that with the good contact rates should get you quite excited about this player.
Yeah, and those types of guys always have like super high floors just because they hit the ball in the air so often. They're liable to like just hit home runs at any time, like regardless of count and like where they are in the lineup and that kind of stuff in the matchups, because there's like their swings and their approaches are designed to hit the ball in the air to the pull side, which is the easiest way to hit a home run. And hitting a home run is the easiest way to score runs, right? So like the floor is super high. And then when you combine that ability with, as we've kind of mentioned ad nauseum at this point, but like he does not strike out. And if he's able to bring that over to Major League Baseball, obviously the pitchers are better, the stuff is nastier, but if he's able to continue to put the ball in play at similar rates, like it's going to be an exciting like MLB career and rookie season for Okamoto.
Yeah. Trey Savage is going to be the favorite for the best rookie on the Blue Jays next year, but Okamoto, does he look at like some rookie of the year votes at the end of the year if you think the season goes well?
If the season goes well, like absolutely, why not? Like, you know, like it's tough to say just because you never know how they're going to translate. Like, you remember when the Red Sox brought in oh my goodness, name
Masataka Yoshida.
Yeah, Yoshida. They brought in Yoshida, and like he was supposed to basically, like, he was kind of hyped up similar to how we're hyping up Okamoto right now. And at this point, he's kind of like a DH that can't really hit. And it's kind of an underwater contract, and Red Sox fans kind of hate his guts, right? So we see that kind of career path from Okamoto. Yeah, maybe not the greatest thing in the world, but from all accounts, I think like the Jays are getting a real player, a guy that's going to contribute.
Right. And so I'm glad you brought up Yoshida here, because I did spend some time last night looking at some of the recent Major League players who did come over from Japan to see how they did in their first season in Major League Baseball. And you do see a dip in numbers. And I looked at 4 players specifically, each to like different outcomes. Yoshida was one of them, and he's probably the most similar comp because his WRC plus in Japan's mimicked the same number of what Okamoto did. Different players, of course. Okamoto's got more power, et cetera, et cetera. But Yoshida's last 2 years in Japan, WRC plus of 195 and then 202. He jumps over to Boston in his first year in the major leagues and went down to 111. So an above average major league player, yes, but nowhere near the elite player that he got way back then. Seiya Suzuki, who came over and joined the Cubs. His first season over in on stateside was good, but it wasn't great. It took him 3 or 4 years to really turn into that 30 home run bat that we have in Chicago. And then if you look at other names, Jung-Ho Lee, who is with the Giants, little different, came from Korea, so there is that caveat, but he was winning MVPs over there. He's still just been a middling league average player, and the power has never showed up for him. And then the other one is Yoshi Tsutsugo, who had WRC pluses of around 140, 150, and he never really figured it out in the big leagues. So I think no matter what happens, we're not going to get, or I'd be very surprised to see if we get that 30 home run, that like 130, 140 WRC plus player. I think a lot of the safe bets are he'll be league average, slightly better. Expect the batting average to drop a little bit. He still has that contact floor to rely on. The home runs will be there, but I think the power is going to be the thing that we might have to wait a year or two into this to fully develop.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And those are some interesting comps. And that's the thing, like these guys, like the numbers are super eye-popping when they come over, and like these guys are stars in the NPB, and they come over and they're kind of not average Joes, but they're regular players. Like they're gonna fit into Major League Baseball. They're gonna be contributors. I think Okamoto is gonna be an above average hitter, but like there's a reason he's being slotted into like the 7th spot in the Jays lineup on roster resource right now, and not like second in front of Vlad. Like he's not going to be. He's probably not an all-star. Like just to be straight up, like there's a reason the Jays got him on just a 4-year contract that's going to expire when he's 33, and it's only $15 million a year. Like it's not breaking the bank. He's not a superstar by any means. I think the combination of floor and ceiling, though, I think is what makes it super attractive to me. Like I think the floor is going to be higher than a guy like Yoshida, especially because Okamoto's got a little bit more defensive value, can play corner infield, hopefully well enough, and a little bit of outfield, whereas Yoshida can do neither of those things at all. Right. And I think Okamoto's probably a better hitter. And it's going to have more power, which helps raise the ceiling. So, I like Okamoto as a fit for the Jays a lot, like genuinely a lot.
Right. And if you're looking at the contract too, some comps around baseball, you're looking at like the Tyler O'Neill deal, who signed for 3 years over $50 million with Baltimore. Christian Walker, who was older at the time, but for $60 million over 3 years. You're looking at like Marcelo Zuna, Mike Moustakas. Like this is the range of player that he getting paid like, which is probably, I think, the range of production we can expect as well. Oh, and I want to fire just 2 rapid fire questions at you. And I just want to hear what your thoughts are. The first one here, is there a Barger Okamoto platoon where like Okamoto will play third base against every lefty and Barger plays third base against every righty? Do you think that's a play the Jays should make?
Like, I think that, no, I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think that's an expensive platoon. I think Okamoto's making too much money to do that. We know once guys are on the roster, I don't think what they're making matters, like personally, but like the players think what they're making matters. And I don't think Okamoto signed to be a platoon bat. Like, I think he's going to like, especially like the weak side of the platoon. Like he's not just going to play against lefties. He's not going to ride pine against righties. I think that can make the team really good. And if that involved a Kyle Tucker signing and you didn't have to play Okamoto or Barger against their weak side, like, yeah, that would make the team damn good. But no, I don't think that's in the cards.
Yes, I don't think so either. I think both hitters are just too good to do just that. And then I wanted you to kind of throw out a maybe projected stat line for me. Maybe give me how many home runs you think he's going to hit his first year. Maybe take a shot at his OPS or WRC plus. Like, what are your expectations here for Okamoto?
Yeah, if I get 16 homers out of him, like in between like 12 and 18 homers, 13 and 19 homers, like that range, like I'm super, super happy with that. Like, I think that's good enough. I think that's kind of like if he's got it, he can't be like a single digit home run guy. He's got to be better than that.
Right. Yes.
As close as we can get to 20, like I think that is what we're looking for. That's what we need. Okay.
Yeah.
Like as far as like a weighted runs created plus, like if he needs to be above average, like he can't be like a 99, 98 guy. Like I want to see him at 110. Like, what did Yoshida do his first year over here? Was you said 112, 110?
Yeah, 111, I think. Right.
Yeah. So one of those, like I want to see that, and then the next year I want it to be better. But especially like in his first year, like a solidly above average hitter with like above average home run power, but nothing stupid. I don't need 30 homers, but.
Yeah, and with the way his swing plane goes, with how he pulls everything down the line, he could be susceptible to like the slow off speed down and away out of the zone. So that's an adjustment I think he's going to have to make here as well. But I'm with you. I want to see 15 to 20 home runs. I think more power might come a few years into his contract. But I want to see like at least a 280 average. I think the contact skills are there and be a productive player. And I just wanted to like kind of see where you think he fits in like the Blue Jays offensive hierarchy here. I don't think either of us think he's going to be as good as Vlad or Springer. Nope. I think that's off the table. But then I want you to rank, I guess, these next 4 Blue Jays and rank them in order, I think, of who you think will have the best WRC plus going into next season. And those players are Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, Anthony Santander, and Kazuma Okamoto. If you had to rank those 4 from highest WRC plus to the lowest, how would you rank those?
I think Anthony Santander is gonna have a bounce back season. He's probably the cleanup hitter in this team right now, right?
Right.
Okay. Alejandro Kirk is probably like hitting 5th for me right now, and I think like what we saw from him last year, like I think we can see again, and I think he might even get into a little bit more power. Like I think Kirky could be a 15 homer guy, and like combining that similar to Okamoto with the ability to put the ball in play as much as he does, never strike out, never swing and miss. Like I think Kirky's that number 2 guy. Like I think Dalton Varsho is going to be my number 3. I think like the power is so tantalizing. Like when he was on that tear this season of where he was only hitting home runs and doubles, dude, like that's so awesome. He can. I think he's kind of figuring that out. Like this is a prove it year for him. He's a free agent after this season. Like he's gonna want to get paid, and I think like this season, if he can like finally tie it all together, like he's a legit like 6-win player. If he can hit like 30 plus homers and then play that defense in center field and put the ball in play enough, like I think Dalton Varsho's the guy. And then Okamoto, and that's no shot at him. Like I don't want to downplay him as a player, but I think that he is probably the 4th guy there. What do you think? Do you agree?
Yeah, we got to explore Dalton Varsho a little more in a later episode here because very much into you on that one. I would probably rank Santander, Varsho. I'd probably put Okamoto and then Kirk last, just because Kirk has, and that, again, not a shot at Kirk. I kind of see the power levels coming back to where they were. He might only hit 8 or 9, and he did play a lot last year. So I want to, see if Kirk can get off that a little bit. But I agree. But that's basically where he's going to be. He'll hit 7, 6, 7 in our order. Don't have too much pressure on him. He doesn't have to save the franchise, It's all going to be very good. And I'm very excited to see how he fits in with this team.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like the most is that like he's going to come here and just like be another one of the guys. Like he doesn't have to come here and like carry a load in this offense and do anything other than what he's capable of, right? Like I think he's going to be able to just do his thing and fit right in and contribute. We actually have a question in the chat here. Gerald. He wants to know if the Jays have some trading chips for a closer, and he mentions Mason Miller. Jesse, that's kind of exciting. So like what? We're going to try and send Santander out the door for Mason Miller. I don't know how the money's going to work there. Like I think Barger's the guy, right? If you're going to do that. That's
the Padres are really looking to cut money. So if you're sending them Santander, the Blue Jays are eating all of that money. And think about like Mason Miller is awesome. It would be fantastic to have him here. I would absolutely love that play. The Padres just traded Leo DeVries to get him. So maybe there's a bit of stubbornness in there. They're going to want a piece. And if you think about who the Blue Jays' best prospects are, and I want you to think about this too, if they choose to go like a Ketel Marte route as well, the guys that are really going to have the value are Barger, are Treya Savage, and the Jays aren't going to trade Treya Savage. And then other than that, you're looking at like Arjun Namala, who scouts have some questions about, but has the upside. And then like JoJo Parker, who was last round's first round pick. Like that's really all the Blue Jays have. So if you're going to get a solid closer like a Mason Miller or trade for a Ketel Marte, it's going to cost you Addison Barger plus. And as good as I think Mason Miller could be, I think I'd almost rather hold on to Barger at this point.
I think so too. I think like the upside of a position player like Barger, who has like 30, 35 homer potential, 40 homer potential, and like has flashed the ability to do it against lefties as well. I think he's got more value than a closer, even one as good as Mason Miller. Like I think, yeah, Mason Miller puts the team over the top, but like at the expense of Barger, and then it's Barger plus, like it's Barger plus the farm probably for Mason Miller. Like he's under control for at least another couple years after this. Like that one would be a tough one to stomach. Yeah, it would be exciting. It'd be fun, but like I don't think the Jays are gonna be hunting at the top of the market in Mason Miller like that. I don't know. Yeah, like, is there like a pitcher? Like I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough fit, and like you're gonna have to subtract any trade you're subtracting from the big league roster, and I don't think the Jays are that keen to do that right now because the big league roster is in such a healthy spot.
I mean, just look at pitcher WAR last year. Mason Miller had a 2 WAR. Addison Barger had 2.3. So you just do the numbers based on last year alone. The Jays are already losing on that trade. And I understand team contests. I understand Mason Miller and everything would be phenomenal. But I'm with you on that. If you can find a way to do it without getting rid of those players, then absolutely go ahead and do that. But I don't think that is going to be the case. I had a good point. I lost it. And give me a minute. It'll come back.
All right. It's all good. So I think like we're kind of like at the end of this, we've done half an hour here. I hope everyone has kind of like enjoyed. I hope everybody knows who Okamoto is now. I hope they're excited to watch him, or as excited as we are to watch him play. I think you and I, Jesse, I think me and you can kind of like talk ourselves into anything that the Jays do at this point. And like, how could you blame us? Because like they just were in the World Series and are probably having the best offseason maybe they've ever had. Certainly that they've had in my life, or like, oh God, I don't want to do it. What was it, like the 2012 to 13 offseason where they were supposed to win like the World Series and they made that huge trade with the Marlins and Mark Burley was here and Jose Reyes. But like, I think that this offseason is a little bit different because they're doing it by spending a whole bunch of money on guys who are tangible, are very good. And I think the team is just in such a healthy spot, and it's hard not to just be itching for spring training to start.
It finally feels good to act like the big market team we know and the Blue Jays have been forever. And boy, let me tell you, this feels awesome. Feels like anything is possible, and this is great.
It feels like anything is possible. The Jays are spending over $300 million on players this year. And Jesse said that there's a 70 to 80% chance that they bring in one of Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, or Cody Bellinger. So
if it doesn't happen, get mad at me. Yeah. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Yes. You got anything else on Okamoto or Jay's offseason here, or are we ready to wrap this up?
No, I just know in terms of a character fit, because we know the Blue Jays have been very much into characters too. Japan has captains of their teams similar to hockey. Okamoto was captain of that team for the last few years too. So the leadership is there. The character is there. It's going to be fantastic. And Toronto's a very great city, lots of international stuff. I've had some great sushi in Toronto. So I know that Okamoto is going to fit in just fine, and it's going to be a phenomenal fit.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay, so thank you to everybody who tuned into this Jay Center live stream. I think we're just on YouTube, but Jesse and I have had a ton of fun doing the podcast the last couple of days. So check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. We've had a ton of fun breaking down Jay's offseason, and we're excited, so excited for 2026 to start. Keep pumping out content, keep giving you guys some stuff to watch and listen to. And Jesse, have a good one. Hopefully we're talking soon. We're going to have a lot to talk about with this Jays team because I have a feeling Ross Atkins and the front office aren't done. I think we're going to be getting into some good stuff soon. All right, Jesse, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.